Welcome back to the Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Bill Lally. Very excited to have my good friend, Heather Lawson, with us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure, our pleasure. So we're going to get to know a little bit more about you. First of all, are you from St. Louis?
Not originally, no. I've been here for 4 years, though.
Okay. How'd you get into real estate, and when did you start with real estate?
So I was in the insurance industry for the previous 10 years, and I loved it. I was just looking for something a little more challenging, and so I decided to go into real estate. So I met with my broker, and we kind of talked about what the steps would be to get started, and one thing led to another, and now I'm here.
Okay. How long have you been in real estate?
4 years.
Okay. When you first started out, were you on a team, or were you a buyer's agent, or how did it?
I've always primarily been a listing agent, and I just recently, in the last, I would say, year and a half, started amping up on the buyer side of it, and I really enjoy getting to help buyers into their dream homes, whether it's a first-time home buyer or somebody upgrading, or if they're downsizing into the next home. Usually it's like an empty nester, or all the kids are off to college, so it's fun to work with that group of people as well.
Yeah, you recently did a deal with us with Sterling Lawler, and a cousin of ours, and he raved about you the whole time.
Good.
So that's a good thing. So you have 4 years of experience in the industry. Is this a full-time job for you?
It is.
Okay.
Full-time, all the time.
Okay. How do you go about getting your clients?
So I work a lot off of referral. I have a lot of great referral partners that trust me to work with their clients, and I trust them to work with mine or our mutual ones.
Do you primarily focus on one area?
I work a lot in the West County, St. Louis County area, but we kind of go wherever my investors pull me. So if they find a property that needs to be flipped, and that happens to be in Central West End or down in the State Streets or wherever, we'll go there. If the return is there, then we'll be there.
I actually wanted to start with this question. I know you recently were engaged.
Yes.
Right? Congratulations.
Thank you.
And it was a very St. Louis engagement.
Yes.
You know, so can you take us through what happened there?
Sure. He gathered a few of our really close friends and our children. We've got a blended family, so we were going to go tour the lights at Tilly's Park, and we got this Cinderella carriage and rode through most of the park, and then he proposed, and I was completely caught off guard. So it was a shock to me, but all of our closest friends and family were able to be there, and it was perfect.
Very cool. And then what, Ted Drew's afterwards or something?
Yeah, we went to Ted Drew's for ice cream afterwards, and our kids sitting out in the not freezing cold. It was actually pretty warm, but you know, it's winter, so
yeah,
it was perfect.
It's a perfect St. Louis engagement.
Next to there was a Christmas tree farm right there, so it was just before Christmas.
Very good, very good. In 2018, your goals for 2018, are you planning on continuing to focus on investors? Or are you branching out to other channels of business?
So I work a lot with investors. I have about 7 to 10 that I already work with, and I enjoy helping them through the process, and they really enjoy working with me because I know our market and I can tell them what to expect before they even make an offer on a property that needs to be flipped.
Yeah.
So I'm able to help them from start to finish and sell their properties pretty fast.
Okay, so take me through that process. An investor, are they primarily cash deals or?
Some of them use lending. It just kind of depends on where their business is at that point in time, or how many properties that they have that they're flipping at one time. So sometimes they can do it cash if they've got several that have already closed, or they might need a hard money lender or some other type of financing.
Okay, so are they trying to fix up the house in a couple months or so and then flip it, or are they just renting it, or what are these investors doing?
Sure. So they're going to flip it, and they're going to put it onto the retail market and offer it to anybody who may be, you know, first-time home buyer or whatever their situation may be. So usually they can do it, I would say, anywhere between 30 to 90 days.
Okay.
It depends on the condition of the property that they chose to begin with. Sometimes it can be done in 30 days. It's a little advantageous, but usually we can get it done within 90.
If you have a cash transaction, what improvements are they making to list that house in 30 days? And are you seeing that it actually is receiving a a profit.
The return on it works better for them if they can get in and do the kitchen as well as any bathrooms, or in one case we even added an extra bathroom so that we could have a master suite to bring the most value. So sometimes it's just dependent upon the property and if it can hold something like that. So it's very specific to each transaction.
Are the investors local?
Some of them, yes. I have several that are right here in the St. Louis proper, but I've got a couple of Florida investors, Texas, and California.
Okay, so they're calling you, not even seeing the homes probably.
A lot of times, yes.
Okay.
I have to go through the properties first, make sure it's something that they can see the return on. Sometimes I'll even do a FaceTime or a Skype walkthrough with them just so that they can actually kind of see the property. It's like they're here.
Yeah.
But a lot of them trust me to like make that decision.
Yeah. In the investor world today, are you seeing that they're looking for a specific type of an improvement that they can make on a home to receive the highest return?
Sure. So it's not something that the average Joe could just go in and do. These investors have crews that they work with, that they employ to make these improvements happen.
Gotcha.
So it's not just like we're going in and ripping out carpet and laying a new floor. Sometimes we're replacing windows and doors and the entire kitchen, or adding a garage even, finishing out basements, things like that. So it's a process.
Okay. Are they using you for the buyer and then to list the home?
Usually I have a team of people that I work very closely with that can help me get my hands on a property for them to flip. So essentially I'm not really helping them with the buy side other than that I am present through the entire process.
Okay.
So when they find a property, I go through it and I make sure that it's something that we can flip and then also make a profit on.
So how about on the traditional side?
Sure.
The traditional residential. What percentage of your business would you say is just traditional?
I would say about 75% is traditional,
Okay.
first-time home buyers or, empty nesters going to the next phase of their life.
Okay. What would you say is the average amount of homes that you're showing a buyer before they're ready to go?
I would say between 5 and 7. Usually after the first 2 to 3 properties, I can tell exactly what they're looking for and hone in on that, and I won't show them anything else
Right.
that is not fitting that criteria. Even if they send it to me and they say, I think I have to see this, I give them the reasons why it compares to some of the ones they didn't like.
Perfect. Are you seeing that the market is still very competitive for competitive and multiple offers?
Yes, even in the early parts of the year, it has been difficult for buyers to get in and snatch up the properties, even if they've been on sometimes for more than 30 days. I had a buyer who wanted a property that had an open house on a Saturday. We viewed it the next day, and by the time we were ready to go back in on Monday and see it, it was under contract.
Right. Okay, Heather, if somebody was just getting started in the business, what advice would you give a young entrepreneur getting started in real estate?
Probably first and foremost, I would say get your marketing plans in place. Definitely set your goals and set them high, and then just crush them.
If people are interested in buying or selling real estate and they'd like to get a hold of you, what's the easiest way for them to do so?
They can call or text me at 314-914-5314.
Very good. And what email?
It's hlstlrealestate@gmail.com. And they can follow along on Facebook, which they will hear in my live videos when I'm doing open houses. I give all that same information as well.
Well, Heather, it's our pleasure for the interview, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome back to the Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Bill Lally. Very excited to have Dan Jimenez from the Irvine team with us. Dan, thanks so much for joining us.
Bill, it's a pleasure as always. Thanks for having me today.
Pleasure's ours. All right, so let's get to know a little bit more about you. So you're a buyer's agent for the Irvine team.
Yes, there's 8 of us on the team. We are a specialized group. We have our listing department, our marketing department, We have closers for both the buyers and sellers, and then we have 2 buyer specialists, Mark Scheller and myself, who specialize in house hunting. I'm a hunter. I also enjoy house hunting. It's my passion. I'm on the MLS every day. I'm hitting the streets with my buyers and, just getting them the best deal they can find in that limited inventory that we're dealing with today. So
Yeah, and you do a great job, a fantastic job. In fact, I think you guys have to be in the top 5 teams.
We are.
What's the volume? What volume is the Irvine team doing?
So last year we did just under $80 million in total sales for the year. We are the top team in all of Coldwell Banker, so that's kind of a fame that we've been holding on to for the last
In the
several
country?
years. Coldwell Banker's number 1 in all of St. Louis, and we're the top team in all of Coldwell Banker. So
Very good.
no pressure there to keep
Yeah.
up those stats, but we are all dedicated to our work. We love what we do, and we're just out there getting it every day.
Yeah, and I know Colleen is your fearless leader, and
Yes.
she's phenomenal.
She's an awesome,
great soul.
awesome listing agent, and that's where the business is all about, getting those listings. And we're always striving to get those listings and get the buyers that come along with it.
Yeah. How did you stumble? I know you're not from here. So give a little background about how you came into it.
Originally from Tucson, Arizona. I operated a bail business there for 23 years. It was a good time. Times are good when they were good, and towards the end it got a little complicated, and just was time to jump ship and go in a new direction. So I reinvented myself. We had purchased my wife's family home in Baldwin back in 2002, and we had that as a second home when we were coming back and forth from Arizona to St. Louis. Fell in love with St. Louis, absolutely love it here. We decided to just pack up and sold our house in Arizona and moved here full time.
Really?
Yep, started out, I'm into cars. I love restoring old cars. So
Yeah.
me and a couple guys said, hey, let's get some dealer licenses and let's go, restore some classic cars and sell them. Well, our motto by the end of that venture was break even motors, because
Right.
we were doing it for fun and passion, but we weren't really doing too well. So I always had a strong interest in real estate, and decided to pursue that career. I was licensed, joined Coldwell Banker in 2011, and got an opportunity to work with one of the top agents in the Town and Country office at the time. We worked well together for a few years, and she moved her operations to Dallas, at which time Colleen from the Irvine team approached me, and we interviewed, and we hit it off, and I've been with her since. So
Yeah.
very fortunate to be part of that team.
Yeah, and they love you.
Yeah.
You know,
I love that.
you gel with that team and that energy and culture and everything, and you do a great job. In terms of your business in particular, are you working as a team with Mark Scheller? Is this an individual?
We're all independent contractors. We all are responsible for our own production, and we get paid accordingly to our own production. We don't have a community pool where we split everything.
Yeah.
So, just like any business, you got to produce or you don't get paid. So
Yeah.
I'm out there producing and just working diligently with my buyers to find homes. The beauty of having specialized individual tasks is that I don't have to spend all my time marketing myself, going out on listing appointments, dealing with contract to close, building inspections, which are an integral part of any contract. It's not finished until you're at the closing table, as you well know. So
Yeah.
I can focus all my efforts on finding that right home for my buyers and really just negotiating and getting them the best deal possible. And once I have completed that task, I move the contract over to Peggy Husky on my team, and she will take them to contract to close. Then I'm on to one of many buyers that I'm working with at any given time.
Yeah.
So,
How many buyers are you working with typically?
at any given time, I've probably got 20 active buyers at any given time. There's several buyers that are obviously looking for the right home and the good fit, and some, I call them unicorn listings because
Yeah.
they don't necessarily exist, but you know what, if they're out there, I'm going to find them.
Yeah.
So
How do you keep in touch with 20 buyers at a time?
I think communication is key in this business, in any business. So, just regular email correspondence, text, phone calls. I have most of my buyers set up on listing alerts that come from the MLS portal, so they're aware of any new listings that are hitting the market. I'm also receiving those emails, so that gives me an opportunity to connect with them once I see a listing that suits their needs. I keep them well organized on a spreadsheet. I know everybody's individual search needs, and I have all that detail and criteria that they're looking for. and I'm constantly going through my list and through the MLS and just trying to pair buyers with the properties that are hitting the market. So I'm always in touch with my clients, and was trying different angles, maybe different opportunities out there, change up their criteria a little bit, whatever it takes. But most importantly, I'm looking after their needs and what's good for them. They're the homeowners, they're the ones making the big investment, and I want to work diligently and smartly to make sure that they're investing their money wisely.
Very good, very good. How many houses on average are you showing a buyer?
Oh man, it's hard to say. Hard to put an average on that. I would say some buyers I've literally shown probably 50 or more homes to, but I'd say on average within 15 to 20 homes, if you're given the opportunity, you should be able to find a home within that time frame.
Is it primarily Chesterfield?
I work, actually I will work anywhere from, last year I sold a beautiful house in Owensville, which is outside of Bourbon on acreage.
There you go.
There's those buyers that are looking for some acreage out there. So I'll work from there anywhere to the city, but yes, primarily in the Baldwin and Chesterfield area. I live in Baldwin, I know the area well, I know Chesterfield well, and our office is located in Chesterfield. But we branch out all over wherever we're needed. St. Charles has been a very hot market the last couple of years, so we're just on the other side of the river, so we service St. Charles and all surrounding communities.
Very good. Are you still running in a very competitive market still?
More so than ever, more so than ever. The real estate market picked up in the last 3 years, and we've seen a lot of new agents hitting the market as well. So with the business comes the agents. And so competition is very fierce, definitely fierce on the listing side and the buy side for that matter.
Yeah, being a buyer's agent, your most important, it doesn't matter if you don't win the contract. None of it matters. So being able to negotiate the contract and have the knowledge to understand that in a multiple offer situation, that you have the expertise and you know what's going to win that contract. What are some of the techniques that you're using to win over a multiple offer situation?
Absolutely. Just depending on how much of a risk my buyer is willing to take. Obviously, the most important factor is the price. We've been seeing about a 98% list to sale ratio, I would say pretty much West County wide last year. So if houses are priced well, they're going to sell at or above list price. So when you're in that situation and 2/3 of our homes were under the $280,000 sale mark last year, it's 80% of our buyers in that area. That's fierce competition.
Yeah.
So when you find that right house, you've got to be prepared. The first and foremost thing that you can do is talk to your lender, get your pre-approval letter, and I just get a printout from a lender who's going to give you an online pre-approval. Go talk to your lender, sit down, take them your taxes, all your paperwork, your income, your debts, just have it all finished, because that's going to give you a leg up on the competition.
Right.
A lot of buyers I find have not completed that task, and when you have somebody who's actually qualified to purchase a home and somebody who's almost there, qualified purchaser gets the contract if they're the same amount of money.
Right.
So that's really the key factor in being prepared to put your offer in. Other things we can negotiate are different sections of the contract. I like to write my offers as clean as possible. I don't like to ask for a lot of contingencies, closing costs if we can get them, but we have to factor in the price we're offering to get closing costs for my buyers. I will always try to get closing costs for my buyers. That being said, there are ways you can maybe give a little bit more than asking price and then factor in your closing costs so you're competitive with the other offers. That's less money you have to bring to the table, and at today's interest rates, you're paying pennies on the dollar for that $5,000 you might need for closing costs.
Right.
So keep that in mind when you're making your offer. Inspections, we can do a little playing on paragraph 10. There's 3 sections of paragraph 10. The first part says, I'm happy with my inspections, I'm taking the house, love it, moving on. Never happens. Second part says, I'm terminating this contract. And the third section says, I will negotiate repairs on this home and we can move forward on the contract. So many times I'll remove the second part of paragraph 10, which just keeps my client involved in the contract. That tells the seller, we're going to move forward, we're serious about buying this property, we're going to complete our inspections, and you know what, we're going to try and negotiate through those repairs and get it done. Whereas somebody else may just say, oh man, I think I paid too much money for this house, and they get cold feet, they back out, and they're out of the contract.
That's really good. It's the first time I've heard that. That's good, and I know with there's a lot of different competitive advantages that top teams will run into or think outside the box to win in those competitive advantages. So you're actually taking out the clause that says, I'm going to back out.
The walk-away clause,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, they still have.
Do you have to point that out to the listing agent, or is that pretty?
I usually kind of bring that to the listing agent's attention. I want to highlight everything that I've got on my offer in clear-cut terms, so that they don't think that there's anything that's being taken out that they're not aware of. I mean, it's your responsibility to read that contract over. However, it's good just to put it in clear terms and let them know, hey, here's my approach. This is my buyer's opinion on the property. Love it. We're looking to move forward. We're not going to walk away. We want to make this thing happen. Our goal is to close on this house, not put an offer on this house.
That's excellent. That's very good. I do want to ask you, if somebody, you're saying a lot of people are coming into this industry, and it is the best industry in all of industries. What advice would you have for a young entrepreneur just getting out, getting started, that you can look back on your career and say, you know, this is some of the path that probably should be taken by a young.
Absolutely. I mean, you just got to get into it. The best way to learn is just to get in the mix and start working. And of course, it's not like you walk into the real estate business and all these listings are thrown on your lap and all these buyers are thrown on your lap and you're instantly working. That's not the case. You have to go out and get that business. So I would say the best thing you can do to prepare yourself is to educate yourself. Aside from your training and your license training, get in with a good outfit. I work with the Coldwell Banker Gundaker, #1 home seller in St. Louis. We have some fantastic training programs, and it's very hands-on. Our manager, Jason Pasha, at the Chesterfield office has weekly meetings. We have workshops throughout the week. So anything you want to learn, there's a workshop for that at any given time throughout the week, and you can take advantage of that and educate yourself. So by doing so, when you get to that customer, you can approach them with confidence.
Right.
And I think confidence goes a long way in this business,
Yeah.
as you know. So knowing the contracts, knowing situations, even though you may not have experienced them yet, you have already been educated on them, and you can speak with confidence in giving advice.
Excellent.
So that's really, I think, the first and foremost, that's the first step in being a successful agent, is just educating yourself.
Perfect. Excellent. I think you're absolutely right. Moving forward in 2018, what are the goals for you individually? What are your goals as a team?
I think obviously we would love to see that $100 million mark this year.
Wow.
And it's been a little elusive. We've been close a couple times, but I think we can get there. I definitely want to see an increase in my number of closed sales. Production-wise, my numbers were up from 2016. However, I don't think I've sold many more homes than I did in 2016 and 2017. I think maybe just lack of inventory, and I'd like to at least close maybe 45 to 50 deals this year.
Yeah.
That would be a very solid number for me. And of course, the income would go up from there. So
Yeah, very good. What's the Irvine team's goal? The 100 million. That's what you're
I would say
pushing.
100. Yeah, I think that would probably be a realistic goal.
Yeah, that's a great number to get to, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You get to 100 million, most everybody's doing good and everybody's having fun. But you guys have a wonderful team there. We love partnering with you. We've known you for years now, and really enjoy being in business with you, Dan. And if people were interested, our viewers are interested in buying or selling real estate in your particular area, what's the best way to go about getting a hold of you?
Okay, so anytime you can reach me via text, phone, and I'm sure you'll provide those numbers. And also, I've got a great website. It's stlhomesbydan.com. That's STLHOMES homesbydan.com. My email is soldfastbydan@gmail.com, and my number is 314-704-6484. I'm always available. I work constantly, day and night. Probably a little too much for my wife's taste, but
Yeah.
that's the name of the game.
That's right. Well, Dan, thank you so much. Dan Jimenez with the Irvine team. We wish you the best of luck.
Thanks, Bill. Nice
All
to
right.
have you. Thanks.
Thank you.